ready?
These tips are very small and laconically short, but are the epitome of the saying, knowledge is power. Hey, voice and on YouTube, my name is Tsele and welcome to this Devil May Cry 5 video where I decided to gather all the developer tips / notes released so far and talk briefly on each one of them. If you like the video, leave a thumbs up and a comment to let me know what you think. So with that being said, let's jump right into it.
This is a trial from the heavens above.
In the first tip, we can really see how gorgeous Nico's alternate color from the deluxe edition looks in motion after it will be toggled by the player through the options menu. As expected, since it became pretty much a standard thing in modern games, the selected color will show up in the gameplay of course, but also in the cutscenes. A quick heads up since I mentioned the deluxe edition of DMC5, in case you still haven't decided if you will pre-order it, check out a video that I made regarding the contents that will be featured inside that might help you see if it's worth it or not. I will have the link down below for you to click it.
I'm waiting on you. I'm cooking. Any special orders?
In tip number 2, we can see Griffon and Shadow, two of V summons attacking an enemy known as MSI while he's spectating from a distance. Basically V, or the player in an extent, will have the ability to control and simultaneously command each summoned servant to attack at will, even when V is under attack. Finally, when the health of an enemy will become at a critically low point and after will take a distinct pale purple color, V can immediately step into the fight and finish it off with a single blow, using his cane. In number 3, we get a small sneak peek on what seems to be the premium live action cutscenes from the game. To be quite honest here, I do hope that in the final product we will get actual behind the scenes with Johnny Young Bosch, Ruben Langdon and the rest of the cast while performing for the motion capture to make the game and not these awkward and goofy cutscenes. I'm really curious to hear your opinion on the matter, so make sure to write it down below and let's have a discussion. In tip number 4 and 5, we can see in action the new co-op system known as Cameo. Specifically, this is Capcom's new form of online play or multiplayer if you prefer. Essentially, the Cameo system will allow players from all over the world playing DMC5 while connected to the internet to make guest cameo appearances at each other's games in real time, but only on specific parts of the story, since there are missions that will exclusively be single player only. Therefore, if the story doesn't have any of the heroes crossing paths, don't expect to be able to cameo. Also, few important notes to mention are first, that when a player is a cameo guest character, his or her name will be featured on the left side of the screen, and as purely logical, will be able to see the rest of the players on their screen fighting those demons as well. Finally, at the end of each cameo mission, a screen for rating the performance of all the guests will be available, in which the players can give and get a stylish rating that will have as a result rewards such as gold orbs to be obtained that can be quite helpful, especially on harder difficulty modes. Video tip number 6 had as its primary aim to show us the players that with the 100,000 red orbs that will be obtained by purchasing the deluxe edition, we will be able to unlock all Nero skills and abilities and still have plenty more to spend on other things, like for example health upgrades. It is also based on this video where the confirmation happened regarding Nero's Devilbringer to return at some point under circumstances that will definitely be explained into the story. What I'm really curious to know is if that was a mistake or a deliberate action from the developers to raise even more the hype. But whatever the case might be, the whole DMC5 community, myself included, can't wait. First for the upcoming PS4 demo and then for the full game to come out on March 8th. In the 7th tip, where the protagonist is V once again, it can be seen that he is able to use Shadow and Griffon as evasive tools and increase his mobility instantly, either by flying into the air or by performing a fast dodge move to step away from MSI's hit. What is extremely important to pay attention to is this specific moment in which it's absolutely clear how limited V's movement becomes when his servants are in the state of inanimate spheres, meaning his recharge time So V, instead of covering this bigger distance either by ground or the air like before, he makes only a simple step just to avoid the damage. So it's critical that the player will use each assist methodically and conservatively to make it alive out of each battle and reduce the wait time until the servants will become available again. In number 8, V summons and takes control of Nightmare, his third and most powerful assist, where every blow is lethal, especially for enemies with relatively low strength. In terms of mobility, to be able to ride and control this huge but pretty slow creature, he must run and stab its back with his cane. Now in cases where V is not in control, Nightmare has the ability, as long as there is enough Devil Trigger gauge left, to be autonomous and fight enemies on its own will. Lastly, unlike the two lesser pets, Nightmare, instead of having a dedicated power bar, uses the Devil Trigger gauge as mentioned before to stay present and active in the fight. That gives huge advantage to the player even at very enemy crowded situations. In number 9 and 10 tip videos, developers provide us with valuable knowledge with how to be more efficient and effective in terms of damage while also keeping the stylish rating very high. So basically in number 9, by using the Red Queen or a move called as Jockey, that's essentially a quick vertical move for Nero when using the Kerberos Breaker. With the right timing in both cases, the fireball that Goliath spits out of its belly can be reflected right back at him, causing a good amount of damage. Additionally, in tip 10, again by using the Kerberos Devil Breaker, but the Pedal Ray breakage move this time, where Nero performs an aerial attack when unleashed in a closed environment like the church. The laser beams, instead of hit the target just once and disappear, are bouncing again and again on walls, causing twice or even more the amount of damage to the enemy. Number 11, Nico is just one call away. Basically this tip video, it simply shows how easy it will be for the player to upgrade Nero in terms of abilities, moves and health with just a call from the payphone locations that can be found throughout the map, presumably before a boss battle encounter, like the Goliath in this instance. In this next tip, in number 12, we can see that after the end of each mission where the player gets a stylish rank based on the performance and several other factors, there is also a button named as Detailed Information that takes the player on a different screen with more in-depth analytics about the total red orbs, the stylish points, bonus and penalty, and finally extra bonus. Number 13, the saying two birds with one stone fits perfectly, since V, as can be seen, will be capable to deal damage to the black bats all at once. Essentially this can happen after he will use a skill known as Royal Fork that also gives him invisibility frames for a very short amount of time and consumes 1 bar from the Devil Trigger gauge. Last but not least, with this skill the player gains more stylish points, so it is perfect when someone is aiming for this S rank style rating at the end. Last on the list is the tip number 14, which simply demonstrates the fact that when the player will lock onto an enemy, will make possible to see the remaining strength and also to center the action camera for easier navigation, especially during combat. Lastly, for the player to be able to change which enemy is locked, that the system preferentially chooses to be the enemy that is closer to the character, is necessary to press R1 on PlayStation or RB on Xbox while changing the direction with the left stick on the controller. So there you have it guys, these were all the tip videos released as of today. I know that I didn't get very in-depth and technical, but I didn't want this video to be extremely long. So I do hope that you found it informative. If this was the case, leave a huge thumbs up and a comment with your opinion on it, and stay tuned to the channel for plenty more content. So really hope that everyone's gonna have an amazing day or night, whatever you're going to do, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye!